Princess Hildegard is going on vacation for a week, so Princess Clio arranged a going-away party during lunch today. She asked us to prepare something thoughtful for Hildegard. The best I could think of was to get her a goblet that was both white as ice and shiny enough for her to see her reflection. I don't know, it seemed like something Hildegard would enjoy. It turns out we're putting on a play for our school. It sounded exciting. I kind of wanted to be a part of it, but lowered my hand back down knowing I couldn't handle being in the cast and on stage. However, Miss Elodie asked for people to help with the background painting. I instantly knew that's what I should do. I can express myself without being seen. It honestly sounded more exhilarating than being on the stage. It's almost like it's an art project for school. Obviously, I was eager to be involved. She gave me a sheet which pretty much just listed off things to include in the backdrop. Trees, bushes, rocks, etc. Basically what you'd expect to see in a rainforest or jungle. The only problem is, I can't really paint without already having some sort of instructions manual showing me the exact steps. Today during theater, Miss Elodie saw I was having trouble. She took me backstage and simply explained that I had painter's block. I told her how I just wasn't able to think of a way to create this jungle. She asked if there was a certain subject that I enjoyed, so I answered science, not exactly knowing where this was going. She thought for a moment, then smiled, explaining how painting can be like the scientific method. She went through all the steps for me, explaining why it fits there. Ask a question. How do I paint a jungle? Do research. Find out what should be in the jungle, which was in the list that she gave me. Construct a hypothesis, creating an image in my mind of the jungle. Experiment. Paint what was on my mind. Here, she had a small canvas ready for me and showed me how to use the brush. I got to think for a moment and paint an image of a backdrop that I had in mind. Collect data, seeing if the image I painted matched the one I had in my head. If it didn't, I could just paint again until I got it right. Conclusion. The painting is finished and I successfully would have painted a jungle for the backdrop. Walking past the dressing room today, I noticed Amber in distress. I hated to see her upset. I peeked my head through the door, asked her what was wrong, and she explained how hard it was for her to sew the costume that she was working on without a mannequin there for support. She seemed to become self-conscious. I was already done with the backdrop, so I thought, well, I have nothing else to do, and I want to help. I fully stepped into the dressing room and shyly offered to help her. She questioned how, making me ponder for a moment until I answered, I can be your mannequin. I noticed her quick gasp before she automatically refused. I tried to let her know how it wasn't that big of a deal and that I wouldn't mind. I mean, the costumes were an important thing to finish for the play. I could feel the temperature rise as she responded, "You would do that for me?" The guardian in my stomach became intense as I awkwardly gave a simple, "Sure." She grabbed my hand and looked at me with this irresistible and caring smile. It became super hard for me to make eye contact at this point. She thanked me and pulled me straight over to a stool. I didn't think it could be that bad. However, she pulled out this huge needle and I froze in fear. Like always, I guess. I had no idea before of the actual size of the needle she was using for the thread, but I already offered my assistance. I couldn't take it back or Amber would be even more upset than she was before. Just like any other day at RPA, I had to hold my fears inside and not let them control me during the moment, despite constantly thinking that the needle would accidentally slip and poke my leg. I could tell I was blushing as Amber slightly giggled and went, "You really would do anything for me, wouldn't you?" while she began to sew. I couldn't think of anything to say and just slightly laughed along. Well, we had to make the backdrop again, but it was okay. This time, I already knew what to do and wasn't hesitant. The play ended up going really well. Maybe next play, I'll try out to be in the cast as well. Just kidding. Working backstage is perfectly fine with me. Desmond.